Lindsay, where do I go to find those minutes?
The agenda center, all the way at the bottom is the specific articles.
So what is the website?
SBHRPD.us.
Okay,
And it redirects you to.
okay, thanks. I mean, I know it was being pushed by this as well.
Let's go ahead and call this meeting to order at 6:03 p.m. We can all rise so that we're able to pledge allegiance. We have our beautiful flag over there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I invite everyone to remain standing. Traditionally, we do a moment of silence for fallen officers. Unfortunately, we have one this month that we will honor who's near and dear to our hearts and near and dear to our department. Detective Sergeant John A. Corrado Jr. passed away. And so if we could have a moment of silence for John. Order of business here is we have a special guest from Salisbury's office, Aaron Gray.
Representative Salisbury is in Harrisburg session this week. She could not be here this evening, but this is very important to share this. Whereas John Corrado Jr. was a devoted husband of 20 years to his beloved wife, Amy, and proud and loving father to his cherished daughter, Michaelina, always placing his family at the center of his life and taking great joy in supporting, guiding, and celebrating them in all that he did. And whereas John Corrado Jr. lived a life defined by dedication, integrity, and compassion, exemplifying the values of hard work, kindness, and loyalty, and earning the admiration and respect of all who had the privilege of knowing him through a steady presence and generous spirit. And whereas John Corrado Jr. served honorably and with distinction as a detective sergeant with the Swissvale Police Department for 25 years, fulfilling a wide range of responsibilities, including patrolman, crime prevention officer, and sergeant, and consistently demonstrating professionalism, adaptability, sound judgment, and strong leadership in service to his community. And whereas beyond his professional accomplishments, John Corrado Jr. embraced life with enthusiasm and a deep appreciation for the simple joys. Finding happiness in playing the guitar, cheering on the Pittsburgh Penguins, watching the History Channel, and embarking on spontaneous adventures in his Jeep, experiences he especially treasured when shared with his wife and daughter. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Abigail Salisbury, State Representative of District 34, join with members of the community and across the Commonwealth to commend and honor John Corrado Jr. for a lifetime of distinguished civic leadership and community service, and extend our profound appreciation for his invaluable contributions to the public good, and direct that a copy of the citation, sponsored by Representative Abigail Salisbury, be transmitted to John Corrado Jr.'s family in recognition of his lifetime accomplishments and dedicated service to the community.
We share our gratitude to Representative Salisbury for rightfully acknowledging the commitment that John gave to our community through and through. So I'm going to move forward with roll call. Mayor Deneen Schwartzwalder.
Here.
Mayor Kurt White-Heinkel. Here. Chris Hansen. Here. Kevin Haynes, I'm present. Dr. Sinead Jeffrey.
Present.
Cassandra Schaefer.
Here.
Abigail Salisbury.
Not here.
It's an A.
Good job.
Angela Stribbling is excused.
Usually I can say people call her Angela.
Thanks. Angela, yeah. Angela, it's very. Thank you, Rep. You're on my mind. All right, so moving forward with commission business, previous minutes, do I have a motion?
Motion,
Do I have?
you do have a motion, I have a motion.
Do you want to try and read it?
Motion to approve minutes from March 3rd, 2026 meeting. March 9th, sorry.
It's okay. Is there a second? Second. All having been made and seconded, any comments or any,
I wasn't able to get it, yeah, so I'll just abstain.
okay. All right, great. So we'll call for the yeas and the nays. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Moving on to personnel.
Sure. Finalize approval for the enhanced death benefit MOU signed between the commission and the FOP.
Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion? Okay, so we'll circulate the final signed MOU. I apologize that it was not sent beforehand, but it was everything we discussed via text. We are extending 6 months of COBRA coverage for the surviving spouse and dependent child, as well as the contract language that we currently have does not allow for payout of any sick time. Quite frankly, John thought this wasn't going to be the one that would get him. So as most officers do, they save their sick time for end of career or a serious illness. John being John, and I think this was the case, he was using his court time. So rather than going back and altering the timesheets to reflect sick time and paying it out court time, correcting this issue will benefit the workforce going forward.
And this will be applicable to all officers moving forward?
Yes.
Specifically though, as an enhanced death benefit, not resignation.
No, this is a time, if you're an employee at time of death, whatever time you accrue, you will receive sick, vacation, court time, which is, some of them are mandated by law. Specifically, sick time is not, it's contractual. Our contract only allowed for retirement, and unfortunately, this was the ultimate retirement, and was a flaw in the contract. So I appreciate everyone's willingness to step up and step in.
So we'll say retirement and or death.
But the retirement's already covered in the contract. This
Okay.
is specifically just for if you die while as an active employee. And just so folks do know, our health insurance expires the first day of the following month. John passed away on the 31st. Had we not taken action on the 31st, they wouldn't have health care. And we fought with MBS. They immediately at midnight, 12:31, or on the 31st, John's family was removed from health. So by us taking this step and correcting this issue, we have created an enhanced benefit to support our fallen officers' family. Hopefully this will never have to be used again. But I think it's beneficial that we took action now. That way, who knows who's sitting where in the future, and this is something that a higher standard that we would hold future commissions to. So I personally want to thank everyone for their willingness to step up and take this action. So with that said, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention. Motion carries. Sorry, minute carried too. Forgot to.
I move to establish a civil service commission for the Swissville Braddock Hills Regional Police Department.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, so, if we look at previous agendas, our very first meeting back in October, we did establish a civil service commission and voted to appoint the people who are in the following motions on tonight's agenda. So I'm not sure how we handle that, but we've already appointed.
We voted to establish?
We voted to establish, the motion was, and we motioned to appoint Pamela Schmidbauer, Raybar, and Heather Groups to the Civil Service Commission. We did not establish a length of service. That's the only difference in tonight's agenda, but we do have a Civil Service Commission in there.
Can I just real quick see the motion you're referring to?
I think this was specifically for, there were no timeframes. So we would have to have a civil service commission when we established our license commission. And this was,
Yeah, I think the problem is before this step of appointing people, we never established the commission itself. We just appointed people to a commission that didn't actually.
Well, this was the first meeting of the commission, so I'm not sure.
I think, according to Mr. Bakshi, we need to take action to create the entity that is civil service. And then appoint people to it. And we appointed people to it without actually creating the commission, the civil
This
service
motion
commission.
is establishing our civil service
Yes.
commission, and then we have to appoint.
Then we need to reappoint the three individuals. That's my understanding of why this is on.
I mean, I don't particularly care, I just wanted, it just struck me as odd. We were doing the same thing twice.
Can you tell us more about the civil service? I could see it on the October 20th meeting minutes, but can you tell us more about, just for the folks online, what the Civil Service Commission does?
sure, from my understanding, the civil service commission is what establishes and requests a list from civil service and makes the arrangements for the tests for us to get a list of potential candidate officer candidates.
Okay. And were these people interviewed or?
Well, some of them were previously on the Civil Service Commission for Swissvale. And then Bradford did not have a Civil Service Commission, is that correct?
We didn't, I
Yeah,
don't believe.
But we wanted to appoint someone from.
Heather Grooms is somebody who has worked in HR for over a decade and has expressed an interest in getting more involved in borough ongoing things. So this is like a natural fit for her.
So in Swissvale, prior to this would be one of the boards and commissions that at the beginning of the year, we had those 5 interviews and then appoint people to. And so both, Blas Bavar, Pamela Schmidbauer, and then George Janosko has been their solicitor for many years. So those 3 individuals have already, it's basically bringing them into this new entity that was formed.
This doesn't take away any of our authority
No.
to interview and appoint. It's just because we are, our officers are all civil service, we have to go through the civil service process, which has to be a separate entity from the actual commission itself. Has to have its own solicitor, et cetera.
This is, civil service provides protections to the officers, so if there's a disciplinary action, one avenue they can go is appealing to the Civil Service Commission. Civil services, as Mr. Haynes said, also is, if we want to hire someone, we can't just throw a job description out there. Civil service, we contract them to go out, basically advertise the position, people interview through the Civil Service Commission, run the tests, physical, I don't remember all the elements of them, there's like.
Physical agility is the first step, and then those that pass that take the written test. And then they go out to an interview, and then there's a scaled score based on all of the written interview. There are weighted scores. The written is more than the interview, and then they make a score and they give rankings based on those.
And the, just so you know, the interview itself is conducted by 3 chiefs that are not ours.
Right.
Chief will ask 3 colleagues to sit in and conduct the interviews, at which point they would rank. And then there's certain rules that we have to follow, which we'll go through all of those when it comes down to that. But like I had said in the email, and what I'll share, everyone, I believe everyone should be invited to the interviews as we did in Swissvale. I think it worked well. I did send or Greg sent the questions that we use, that we traditionally the past 2 years.
It's longer than that. I mean, it's, yeah, we've been using those questions since I was on the police committee, so
Okay.
5, 6 years.
So,
And so those
Two
questions, what I was gonna recommend or ask the personnel committee to do is review those questions and see if they need to be updated and changed.
I see, that makes sense, thank you for that. So the folks on here were previously on the commission except for Heather Grooms.
No, Heather was appointed.
Oh, she was
We appointed her in October.
in October,
Yeah.
okay.
But Braddock Hills did not have a civil service commission, and so they didn't have anyone to bring over.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah, that's why they went,
Okay.
that they chose someone who.
Gotcha. And just a quick question, does the Civil Service Commission, any kind of involvement with them on the search for police chief?
No. It's separate.
Yeah, the chief of police is not under civil, well, does the chief have civil service protection?
It can.
Yeah,
Depends on the case.
let's try that.
Depends on the candidate?
Yeah. It's by the individual, not necessarily. Chief Wilhelm is civil service.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Because he's fired. He's fired, but he came in civil service.
in civil service, right?
There's a lot of nuance.
I can see that.
That's why they have their own attorney and,
Right.
and there's certain rules by the state.
Yeah, I see the state has a civil service
Correct.
commission. That's what I'm reading up on here. So,
Like for,
Anybody doesn't know.
there's rules with if somebody was in the military, that there's hiring as far as they go, and things like that. There are those rules.
the military affairs code. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, thank you. It's very helpful.
All right, any further discussion? All right, hearing none, calling for the yeas and the nays, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
I move to appoint Blas Bogar to a 2-year term on the Swissville Braddock Hills Civil Service Commission.
I'll second.
Second, is there any discussion?
We've already technically appointed.
Right.
Put it in name and, yeah.
Yeah. And the reason why we're doing this right now is because if you look at number 7, is where the newness comes in. So, any further discussion on Mr. Brevard? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Motion to appoint Heather Grooms to a 4-year term on the Swissville Braddock Hills Civil Service Commission.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
I move to appoint Pamela Schmidbauer to a 6-year term on the Swissville Braddock Hills Civil Service Commission.
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Question, sorry. The term limits, no, I'm looking at the 642, and you're finishing up previous appointments, why?
No, it's brand new. So anytime, like when you have, Robert's rules dictates what the term of positions are. We would only rotate every 2 years
I
a
see.
new person. So, for example, Pam will be on for 6 years, Heather 4. So Heather would be a 2-year
Mhm.
commissioner, where Blas would pop off in 2 years and then could be appointed. So it's that way we're constantly have one. We're not just,
Gotcha.
we're refilling as terms. fall out. Any other discussion?
No.
And I don't know if it was specifically because that's the interest or if that's, but this is how it works. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
I move to appoint George Ginosco as the solicitor for the Swissville Braddock Hills Civil Service Commission.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Here's the good one.
Request the Swissvale Braddock Hills Civil Service Commission to prepare and administer a test for entry-level patrol officers.
Second.
Any discussion?
So this would be the agility written test and stuff.
Correct.
And this is what we need to hire the officers
For full-time.
For full-time. Full-time.
Part-time and juvenile.
Is there a passing score or just pass fail?
70, I believe, is the written.
Okay.
They'll rank all of them and you'll see the scores at the end when we get the list. And
Yeah.
then, as we said, there's certain rules of who we can apply or who we can interview.
So do they have to, do this test create this test or administrative?
So what happens is, once that were to get approved, either the commission or myself will get in contact with the Civil Service Commission. We will work in conjunction with the Allegheny County Police Academy. We will, they will administer the physical agility test with myself and any of the Civil Service Commission people who would like to be present to witness it. The people who pass that, there's another company that administers a entry-level police exam. They would come to the Allegheny County Police Academy and administer that test at that location. And then based on that, people would move on to interviews.
Gotcha, okay, and that's where the questions are
Well, there's an
Well,
interview.
there would be chiefs interviews,
Okay,
which are scored, which get the scoring. Then the Civil Service Commission does their final scoring, and it's called certifying the list. And they present that list then to the commission of the scores. And then at that time, the commission would have their interviews to ask the questions
see.
of any possible
I see.
candidates that, could be hired from that list.
okay, so the the civil service group kind of ranks. their-
Correct, it's
their-
based on the rules that they have set forth.
Gotcha,
And
from all the different tests. that we
correct,
did. Okay,
Including the interview that's done by 3 outside chiefs.
right,
yeah,
So it's, and that's valuable, because one, we're not putting our thumb on the scale, but we're also getting 3 separate perspectives
Yeah.
on what a chief would want from an officer.
yeah.
So I think that's,
No, I think that's good for the public to know the process, that this is like very thought out
Yeah.
and intentional and all those factors matter and, yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate that.
backgrounds and everything are done
Yeah.
from that point, and, yeah.
Good,
Do
good,
you-
good.
Sorry, do you do those, chief, or does?
So we've done them in the past, the last ones were done through a background company. That's what they do, is background checks on candidates, so we make that decision.
And we budget for these
Mhm.
tests, is it an X amount of tests or just a number?
Yeah, I believe, the company who comes in, it's, based on how many, I don't know if it's per individual or it might be per every 10. There's a cost that they charge because they'll administer it and score it and get it back to us. Or they get it back to the commission, the Civil Service Commission.
Is there a line item?
I don't know if there's a individual.
Or is it on the list? Curious what it feels like.
It would probably go under general expenses. I don't know if there's an actual,
Okay. I just
um,
know there was like a recruitment bucket or something.
no, there's nothing for actual recruitment that I'm aware of.
I will tell you, we are short a significant number of officers. Making the slide.
Oh, we have budgeted for,
18.
okay, so we have to budget to cover it.
Yes, absolutely. This is not, yeah.
Well, I'll take a look at that. Thank you, Chief.
Mhm.
That's all.
Um, So we are on the motion to prepare and administer the test. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
I move to pay the bills in the amount of $82,943.78. I hope that's the right number. For the period of March 10th to April 13th, 2026.
You say the number?
Sure, $82,943.78.
Cheryl's up there now.
Yes, yeah, that would be, as I said, on the list of bills,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
and that's from last month's.
Yep, so a couple.
Up to that.
So last page. What are they asking for?
Hold on, I made a motion, it's okay.
Second, okay.
What was the UPMC and the fast signs for?
Fast sign would be the relettering of all the vehicles to
Okay.
the regional police department. And which one was,
UPMC 5644. Monthly.
Just read about fast sign.
I see it.
We can,
Unfortunately, that was prior to me taking over as March
We can look
10th,
into
so I would have it, I just don't have it here in front of me.
I'll tell you that I know, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I mean, some things that we, this was fail, I mean, when the police was part of this fail, we paid for, this was usually fire like CPR classes, certification.
I see.
It could even be something as simple as deductible, just because the way in which the insurance works is they,
we reimburse.
yeah, we reimburse the commission will pay a deductible for the officers as part of their insurance benefits, so it could have just been.
Okay, it's just a strange.
It could also be a drug test.
It could be.
It could be a drug test for a part-time officer.
Yeah, without seeing the
Without seeing the actual-
invoice in front of me,
Okay.
Sure, would you mind just shooting us an email tomorrow, just say,
yeah,
What it was.
what was it for?
There's two of them, I don't know if you saw them on my, Lindsay believes that may be post-retirement health care for two of our retirees who have UPMC.
Maybe.
Okay. UPMC for.
We'll go.
But we can look, I'll circle it and for sure, and I can get back to you.
Fair, good question, thanks for checking. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
I move to enter an agreement with First National Bank to set up check scanner and online banking portal.
Second. We did,
Any discussion?
Do we have any background on this, like what this is?
So what this is basically it allows, so we get like $15 per police report, a bunch of other miscellaneous reports and
The
things.
check, so the First National, it's $35 a month for the first year, then once we're established with them, they could lower it or completely get rid of the charge. So that's to have the scan, our own scanner, and also access to the online portal, because that's a right now too.
So that the scanner will allow us, make it easier for deposits, is that right?
Yeah, so like if I get a check, I
Yeah.
can just deposit it right away.
Or you literally just swipe, you put the thing through and it goes, yeah, just like the bank. So we have to pay for it and then pay for the service for the first year. It also allows them to have online banking.
Yep.
To review and maintain.
And that would help with reconciling the
Mhm.
budget. Okay, perfect.
Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? All right, and abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries.
motion to apply for a purchasing card with duplicate for Chief Zakia and Officer Manager Lindsay Madwell.
Second.
So let me just share this. We are a new entity. We do not have any credit. We're currently bank borrowing the ceiling from across the hall. And Lindsay's doing everything she can to make sure that there's water and supplies in the facility, and Chief is doing what he can. We're currently leaning heavily on Swissville. for things like gas, for even miscellaneous purchases. We're looking into different options for gas purchases in addition to this. What this will be is, it will be co-signed actually by Swissvale, because we have no credit. We have no ability to get a credit card. We've tried. Cheryl's gone to the bank 100 times. She's begged. She was in there crying. They called the chief and said, come get this lady out of our bank.
Actually, Pliget might not need you. I have a phone conference Wednesday morning with them. So they might not need you. Swissvale's a co-signer. They'll let me know, but they don't think we will need it.
Okay, if we do, great.
So, yeah, because they're not like, they're a financial institution. But they're not like First National or Dollar. They primarily work with municipalities and government organizations. So they understand, they're more understanding.
That was gonna be my question.
Oh, we've been here. Chief showed up, Watson showed up on Cassie and my doorstep and said, here, please sign this. We're like, what are we signing? Give me a credit card. Well, that was in November. And so we haven't had a credit card because we have no credit. So if Pliget's the case, that's great. We're also looking at, Forest Hills actually has their own gas.
I've been throwing
Okay. Do you want to share? Or?
We should have looked in a little bit.
Okay, all right. But we're looking at different options for where we can get our gas. Braddock Hills had an arrangement with Forest Hills to use the gas there. We're giving a couple pennies to somebody per gallon. Might as well go to another police department if we're not putting in gas pumps.
I have a question, so, I guess, the, purchase card is very, very important. Do we have a process, a SOP or so in place to reconcile purchases as they happen?
Yes.
Okay.
So we get these checks, that gives us the, what the item is, what account it goes to. And then when we get these every month, which is why I want to make sure these were included monthly with everyone. Maybe we can send these out electronically prior to, that way everybody has questions.
That'd be great.
So, you know,
Yeah.
but that way there's not just a number, 82,000, but it's, okay, here's where we are on this. And here's where we are related to, where we were budgeted. And that way we can look and see what, where we are. Chris pointed out a couple areas of potential concern, that will continue to have, I think there's money. For, specifically vehicle maintenance.
Okay. So when purchases are done on the card, they'll be accurately reflected on them. And then reconciled, like receipt matches
Yes, yes.
input and, okay. Just,
I was gonna say, I have a purchasing card with Pliget for my office. The main reason I used it a lot of times is actually to sign up council members and the mayor for conferences.
right,
That's the main reason I have it, but there are times where, like, we're having 80th birthday and we're ordering things that are like kind of, yeah, it's too much to set up an
Yeah.
account. But anyways, I have a receipt, so if you come to my office and you're like, hey, I want to see
Yeah.
February statement, the statement's there and every single receipt or invoice with that. And then when I enter it into QuickBooks, I actually have it all separated. So when they get the report at the meeting, they see the breakdown where it was like, Amazon for community events.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I like to hear. You gotta trace every number to a receipt to a line item.
yes, every
So-
statement has all
Correct.
receipts attached.
So I just wanna make sure we have that and it's properly said out loud, because audits, I've been through audits before, they're not fun. So if that happens, it's nice to, I like a receipt, but you're speaking my language, so I appreciate that. So thank you.
No problem.
Swissvale also, just so you know, as a councilwoman, Greg has one, just,
Greg, Jordan, Clyde, and Sarah has two.
Sarah. And they're not like $20,000. These are like $2,500 cards, so there's
Limits.
there's limits,
Yeah.
low limits. Jordan last week had to go buy 2 flags. for example,
Mhm.
for job services. So he was able to go out and just buy it.
Yeah, they max them out for a loan, basically, like, so what it costs, so that just shows it's not like a super high
Okay.
limit.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
That's nice parts.
Any other discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Abstentions? Motion carries.
I move to set up automatic payments with MBS and AIT for monthly insurance bills.
Second.
Any discussion?
When will this start? What's the date? When will it start? Start doing monthly setup on that?
Probably right away is the next bill
Yeah.
that we received, you know.
Do we have to put that in the motion? The date?
No, it's just automatic. It will automatically. This is already approved.
It'll be a list of bills still, even though it's not an payment, it's not a check, but it'll still be in the list of bills every month.
Okay, so this is just to do it automatically?
Yeah, because it's health
Doesn't matter.
insurance and you don't want to lapse or
Okay.
have it late or, and you
No,
cannot
no, no,
depend on entirely on postal service
No.
sometimes.
we don't want late bills.
My only concern is if monthly, we can include the specific invoice in the monthly packet with the months, I mentioned before, the months that it covers.
Okay,
Because we're,
yes, you sign off on it, we'll
Yeah.
include it, okay.
perfect, that way everyone sees if it's $35,000 going to something, well, it's because it's.
Yes, we'll definitely include it.
Gotta pay the health insurance. As a union guy, wages, benefits, then you get your money lights. That's what I tell them. All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions, motion carries. Is there any new business?
I've got a lot of business. A few things just to talk about. One, I just wanted to ask kind of what our protocol is for communication about incidents. Who should be notified, when, how? For instance, there was shooting at the Wendy's at the town center a couple weeks ago, and one of the Swissville council members said, hey, like, I should be notified about this. In the past, Chief Watson would notify the council, and so just trying to figure out the ways, the correct way for us to be notified on the board, as well as the other council members in the boroughs that are represented in this.
So what I had told Chief was, let us know prior to in the news. He'll shoot me a text, and then there'll be an after action report that goes to the commissions. This specific Wendy's, we were just assisting.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually, it's not so.
There was no real action after, because you didn't know what happened afterwards, because once county took over, you left.
Right.
But yeah.
Which is fair, I just want to make sure, I mean, use that as an opportunity to make sure we have some kind of process so that.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, if it's in Swissville, you want me to send something to the entire council? Or how do you want me to, I mean, I'll let, Commissioner President know.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing, like, we had to make, I just shoot a quick text, I did it to our vice president as well, we had something up here at the Braddock Hills, just to let them know what was going on. But then afterwards, I can do an entire, whether it's in Braddock Hills, to,
Yeah.
if I can get everybody from Braddock Hills email that they wanted to go to, and everybody from Swissville. And then after it's complete, I'll send out an email to everybody, letting them know
Perfect.
what's going on. But the initials, I've been communicating with Mr. Haynes and Ms. Schaefer, just a quick, hey, we're over here at the Edgewood, there was a shooting, we're
Just
assisting.
more for safety, I said,
Yeah.
Just because I know
Text, hey.
you all get the questions
Yes.
coming your way.
Yeah. I mean, again, the best example of kind of how things were done before is Chief Watson would, reach out to the mayor, but then would send an email to all the council. So I think,
I can do that, I'll make it.
Yeah, I think absolutely like that.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. So great, that's all I wanted, just to kind of have that.
So is the process, the chief to reach out to Kevin?
Kevin and Cassie, and then after the event, we'll share.
Yeah,
Okay,
if I'm, yeah.
You heard from the two of you. from next afterwards?
Well, I think,
Chief.
yeah, I think, yeah, Chief will.
Oh, Chief,
Yeah.
you,
Yeah, I mean, if it's something that they wanna maybe send out and just a FYI, it's, I mean, that would be up to you all.
Yeah, I appreciate something like that in case it's something
Yeah.
big, in Braddock Hills going on.
That's what I was gonna say, and then we can filter the information to our individual councils. You know, if it's something that residents are gonna hear about.
Well, I think filter it if it's like an urgent, like you're gonna reach out to them first, but I still think that it would be beneficial for Chief to send that out to everyone after the fact.
I don't disagree with you. I think that actually would build more solidarity, more
Yeah.
unity.
Yeah.
Even if it's nonsense.
Sure, that way you have
It's
the
not
answer when
important.
somebody asks you a question.
Right, it's like, hey, Chief's doing a great job, we're getting this information from the regional police department, this is what happened, you know. It's like when everybody was, Westmoreland, there was a incident with, county. And, I reached out to Watson at the time, it was 4 blocks from my house, it was a warrant served by the county, not ICE or anything. And that person chose to.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes those outside entities do come here and we are not made aware, but anything
Right.
we're aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Could you go on? Yeah. Okay, my next one was, so I know that, Dion is no longer doing the bookkeeping and accounting. Are you doing that now? Okay, I just was curious who was,
No problem.
following up with that. Next, I would say, so I think that we need to prioritize, amongst other things, finding a solicitor. Because I think that, we saw this at the last meeting where there was some confusion of the, Robert's rules type things. I mean, even just our conversation about civil service, that these are things that solicitors are going to be more experts on than any of us that are on the board. So I do think that would be beneficial for us to have someone who can be that sounding board. And I feel like we're kind of going blind with some of this stuff. And
Yeah,
it would be
and we're
helpful to
leaning on Gavin and McTiernan, Garvin and McTiernan. We did put an RFP out. And we didn't get any response.
Yeah.
We're so small,
I know.
it's gonna be a.
I have two places that I told Alice,
All right, we'll talk after.
Yeah.
so let me know if you're still, a few months of this little
I didn't get those, so
guy.
forward to hearing them.
I think that'd be great place to start. Thank you.
And I reached out to a couple that I work with on a regular basis, that I no longer have those locals, the people that I had really appreciated working with were too far, they were too small. And unfortunately, if we get the right solicitor, we may have to look at changing the date of the meeting because we might, like, the reason why we have no solicitor tonight is because they both have other commitments.
Yeah.
And so neither are permanent here, but they're available if we have questions, but I don't disagree with you, that's on the list of items.
I just want to make sure that we're kind of bumping that to keep that as a priority. I do have something on Chief Search, but I'll wait till that comes up. And then the last thing is, I know that we had appointed Lindsay as office manager a couple of months ago. I have yet to see a job description for that, and so I think it's important that we get a job description so that there are clear demarcation of what her roles are going to be, what she's supposed to be doing, and what's not her responsibility. I'm fine even if, because we don't have a borough manager in the same way. I'm fine even if she puts it together herself and lets us see it and sign off on it, but I think it's important to make sure that there is a clear demarcation of
Yes,
responsibility.
and part of the issue was with Dion leaving, was figuring out what Dion was specifically doing and how that work was going to be divided. And I think it's contingent upon it. So it was a matter of, you guys figure out, here's everything that needs to be done.
Yep.
Figure it out, and then the job description. As we were filling the board with Dion this work.
Absolutely, I don't disagree with any of that. I just want to make sure we're prioritizing those things so that, Lindsay's not having to work in obscurity of like, do I do this? Do I have to do this? What am I supposed to be doing here? So,
Lindsay's been basically holding everything.
I know she has, and that's
She's doing
exactly
an
why.
amazing job.
Absolutely, and that's why I want to.
Everything.
That's why I want to bring it up, so that Lindsay is the full-time administrator for the police department. And so it is very easy it would be very easy for her to be the de facto, here Lindsay, you're here, do this, here Lindsay, you do this. And I wanna make sure that we are caring for her and not burning her out. That there's very clearly what she is supposed to be doing and things that she can say no to, because that's not part of my job description.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Except that the last line of any job description.
I know.
Other duties as assigned.
It's true, but you
No, but
know, like the borough manager or chief of police, or, you know, it's not just anyone can come and. hey,
Right.
you have to
No,
do
no,
this.
no, it's gotta go through chief.
Yeah.
Chief.
Absolutely.
And also it's nice because it creates parameters of those other duties as assigned.
No, I hate that one. I mean,
Exactly,
absolutely.
and because, you know, Lindsay's doing a great job, but because the audit is assigned, you're not a solicitor, right? You know, you gotta create that nice little box. So much appreciated, I agree.
That's all I got for now.
Okay. All right, great. All right, any announcements?
Can I go under, I guess, new business?
Yeah.
I don't know at what point you wanna handle this, but we, myself and Cheryl have been in contact with Forest Hills. Forest Hills had previously purchased fuel. I'm sorry, Braddock Hills previously purchased fuel from Forest Hills, which is located behind their fire station. They have their own private pump down there. I believe they get their fuel, at a discounted rate or a government rate. They then add 35 cents a gallon. I think you told me,
35 cents.
but that's still cheaper than a gas station. We spoke to their borough public works director. They're fine to take on our 10 cars. They would provide each car with their own credit card to use the machine. And then at that point, they would bill us monthly for the gallons that were used.
Okay.
And they actually put a breakdown of each vehicle. And how much for each vehicle, so there'll be a breakdown.
Nice, okay. I mean, that's what Braddock Hills was doing before, right?
Yes.
Currently we get bills.
We have Valero and
Valero, yeah. Apparently the bill comes and they back off the taxes.
Yeah.
This won't even have the taxes.
Right.
It'll just be 35 gallons at $3 a gallon.
So we're saving money?
It sounds like from what you're paying government, you're not going through the actual gas station, the delivery's coming directly to their tank. And then they impose a small per gallon fee for their,
Which would be cheaper than
Which
if we
is-
were doing the Valero.
right, that's what I was explaining. It's a little bit cheaper than going through an actual gas station.
And it's 24/7.
And it's 24
You're down there
hours.
anytime you want.
Whereas our Valero closes from midnight till 6 a.m. Not that that's normally an issue, but,
I'd like to say hi to those guys in behind.
well, they'll still go down.
Right. There's still snacks there. They're not gonna have snacks at Forest Hills.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to even, once we get up and running with credit cards and whatnot, having those, if for some reason we need it. I know like the Sunoco, we have Sunoco as well. And, you know, some of the cars have those, the canines have them because they travel around, so they might need fuel outside of our area, or if somebody's going to training, you know, Harrisburg, whatever, we have a fuel card that we can use outside of the area.
We don't have an actual MOU or a contract with Valero or anything, we just kind of use.
We're still under Swissvale, so I don't know how.
Okay.
They're
I just
still
wanted to
billing
make
us.
sure. Oh, they're billing us.
So it would be a Swissvale contract. So
Okay, so
whatever they have, the relationship.
maybe we should, I just want to make sure we're not in breach of any.
We're separate entities. We don't have a contract with this. But I appreciate the question.
I don't know if that needs any
Is it something?
formal motion
Do
or.
we,
This is why we need a contract.
I mean,
I would suggest that,
it's not happening. But can we?
You make a motion to change the agenda to include this, and then you can make the motion to do it.
No. I would entertain a motion to change the agenda. If someone were to make a motion to change the agenda.
So moved. Make a motion?
No, I would entertain the motion.
Make a motion.
Can I say a motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Are we adding it to this agenda or future agenda?
This is
This agenda. Okay. So budgeted fuel operating expense, $45,000. I mean, I just would like to see more. I kind of want to see the numbers.
Oh, so what we would be approving right now is to, but we can't sign a contract. It's approved.
I don't think we even need a motion then. I think we can just task Cheryl or Chief to go and get like an estimate for like I don't know, I can't
Give
think
us
of
a
it.
draft, have them give us a proposal.
Yeah,
Like
I think
invoice,
most, that's what I was looking for. I don't think we need to make a motion to ask for a proposal. I think we can just have them get a proposal, bring a proposal, maybe bring comparables with Valero and Sunoco from Swissville, like what they cost them,
That's what I would like to
and
see,
then we can
just
vote on it
number
next
wise.
month.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, withdraw the motion.
Sure.
Doesn't matter, withdraw the second.
And just so FYI, it's on the expense 410-231.
There's $104 that we've spent on that since January 1st.
Well, it's hard to know whether or not that's, if we're paying Swissville back for that, or if it's just Swissville's withholding that.
I'm reading Greg on my budgets.
Yeah,
That was
also
gonna be my,
seems
probably my
kind of
next.
weird to me for the number of. So-
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Any other announcements? Okay, so we're going to reports, we'll do mine really quickly. I will be meeting with Greg Batching on Monday to review both the Swissville Braddock Hills Regional Police budget and where we are on, we have some shared services. I want to make sure I personally understand so I can explain to folks what's where and what money's being withheld, why and for how. Also, related to, I've gone through and done numbers for, and negotiate for negotiations. I want to make sure that he has any input that he has, since he prepared the budget with Ellis. So on that note, also, we had a brief, executive exchange last week, albeit via text. It was timely, and like I mentioned, they would have lost their healthcare that night had we not taken that action that day. So the text specifically was about the MOU. I wasn't aware until Sunday. I think we talked about Sunday that his time was, he was using his court time, he had his sick time out there. And so he was gonna have a significant amount of sick time that he would not, his family would not, receive. So that's why the expedited, pay quick tax, we could have gone through and just said, hey, we had to change how things were done on his timekeeping. It just for audit reasons and for all other transparency reasons, we want to make sure that it was just done and done right. And so it was expedited. And I do appreciate the support of people willing to do that. Also, we will have a short executive session for a contract negotiation update. Right after this, we received a communication that we need to discuss behind closed doors. Let's see. And I want to take this time to personally thank Chief and Lindsay and Mayor for everything that has been done in this past 2 weeks. Specifically, the ceremony, getting everything ready, but also making a really horrible situation as easy as possible. I could not be prouder of our officers and of the Swissville Braddock Hills Regional Police Department. It was tiring work, it was exhausting work, it was emotional work. I couldn't be more grateful for every single officer, and Lindsay and the mayor for everything that they did to make this a really, really, really special occasion, and an amazing send-off. We were driving down 376, The numbers of thank yous were not even gonna get there, little similar. We were given vans as a donation, to transport electives and families, et cetera. We couldn't, I looked back on 376 and straight away, and you couldn't see the end.
Good.
I'll just give you a quick, being that I was on the same channel as the motorcycles that escorted us. When we got to Greensburg Pike, the last motorcycle said the final car was pulling out of the funeral home. That's how far.
I filmed the procession, it was 7 minutes long
That's,
through the flyage.
that is absolutely, I mean, it is a service and a ceremony worthy of a man like John, honestly. And, it was an honor to be part of it, to be in it, to watch it, to witness it, and to show the fraternity, not just of the officers, but also of their families and of the community at large. The countless people that came to the viewings Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I mean, you're dealing with what, 10 miles, 15 miles in winding procession. And I mean, our DPW in Swissville, our fire department in Swissville, I mean, there was a flag arch, not arch, but a flag. We drove under a flag. Thanks to Culligan in the fire department. They really, I just, there's not even enough words. I'm stumbling over words right now because there aren't enough words. If I could put my emotion and my pride in words, I'd be a millionaire. But I want to thank you, each one of you personally, for really doing an amazing thing. And I really want to call out Deb, one of our officers who went above and beyond in supporting Amy and Lena in a really, really terrible time. She was there every single day. She provided immense support. Amy was very grateful for everything that the department did for her and her family. And she kept mentioning that Deb was there every single day, and everybody was there. And that's the kind of department we want. And so I couldn't be prouder to be part of such an amazing organization. So on that note, I'm going to stop cheering up and pass it over to Madam Vice President.
Hello, you're a tough act to follow, sir. I really only want to report on the chief search. I don't have a whole lot of information to share. Our consultant and I had originally been scheduled to have a quick phone chat this afternoon, and then I got pulled into a meeting. I couldn't do that. But the update he provided to me, I will read it to you. It is brief, and now I can't find it. Technology. 2 candidates as of today, 2-week closure notice going out next week. Let's talk that. So we're pretty close to the original timeline that was proposed. We started the post a little bit late, because we were going back and forth making some edits. But that's, kind of catching us up and keeping us in time. So 2 candidates. From what I understand, there might be 2 other folks that we have heard of that are planning on kind of throwing their hats in the ring. So you have about 3 weeks to do that.
I will applaud you and the work that's being done, because I heard about the search outside of.
Yeah.
And people are being reached out to and being asked to apply. So that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted to see what was out there and see who's there, and kind of like throw out a big net. So yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Any questions on chief search?
No, I'll withdraw.
I mean, I hope there's some interest.
I think we all do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you waiting for the call in?
Thank you. I've had an interesting first month.
First of all, thanks for not quitting.
We're navigating, we're navigating, so. Just a few things I have here, personnel. In February, we had 2 part-time officers that were hired. One of them, I believe, is gonna be ready to go here soon. I spoke to him today. I thought his stuff was back from the state. When I went in and I looked, it says documents needed, and it looks like it was sent to Chief Watson, and I don't know why, because Mobitech has me as the chief here, so I'm gonna find out what that is tomorrow. Officer Sanders, Moe, he has to go take the test in Harrisburg. We're gonna try to see if the county police has a test happening at the Allegheny County Police Academy. If not, he has to go to Harrisburg.
Can he take our civil service test, or is it different?
This is his, so he works for a hospital. And
Okay.
Mayor Hinkle could maybe explain that a little bit more. They're not under Act 120. They do the same updates as everybody else, but for some reason, the police, Mobitech, our certifying agency, does not recognize that as police. And if you go longer than 2 years without working in a municipal police department, you have to retest to make sure that, you know, you're lost.
I will tell you that Mo is much taller than I. I looked at very, and I said this to him, I was like, hi, Kevin, it's like, I know who you are. You interviewed me. Who are you? And he told me who he was, because I didn't know him, he was here before. And I'm like, you look much smaller in that little Zoom box.
He's
He's like
6'10".
No way.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when all the officers were standing, you know, he was just a whole head above
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
No, head, shoulders, and
Yeah.
chest above everybody.
Wow.
Now y'all know what I feel like.
Yeah. And the mayor may have comment on that.
It's just under Act 501 corporate security or corporate police. It's not, you know, it's not under the MOPA Act.
It's just probably the origins and how things were created in the organization.
I do have another application that had come in, for part-time. I believe all 3 of these are interested in full-time, so they'll be taking our test hopefully to get that, but I can, work with you all to figure out a time to interview.
Yeah.
You want to send us, Shanae?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the chair.
The personnel committee?
Yeah.
No, Sean is.
Or your commission?
Oh, the commission, yes.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
you say personnel, like interview, but.
Yeah.
Question.
Our person.
Okay, yes, for a person. I think that's just so person. The first person, part-time, what's his name?
Will Spangler,
Oh, I remember now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So he did the test and everything.
he's currently working as an officer in Duquesne.
Okay,
He's gonna come on part-time, but I believe
Yeah.
I spoke with him today just to make sure.
yeah,
But he's still interested,
okay.
in coming. That's all I have on any personnel. Does anybody have anything, questions, anything? I guess at this point, we'll have to get with the Civil Service Commission, whether is it gonna be somebody from the police commission, or would you like me to reach out to them?
If you
And
work
try to
with Greg,
coordinate.
if you work with Greg, it's the process
Yep.
before,
Okay,
and just make sure he knows how the process works. So
okay, we'll try to get them as fast as they can move to get everything.
So how, when we were first talking about the merger, we had, I think, put out 6 sergeants. We're currently at 4 sergeants.
Correct.
Is there,
Myself.
counting yourself, yeah, so I mean, arguably 3 sergeants then, that's a great point. Is there a need, like an urgent need to begin having tests for the sergeant, or is that something that we should iron out?
I think we should
Personnel
get
first here.
the personnel
Okay,
back to where they need to be.
Yeah.
And then we can, you know, handle that.
great.
I am still working some shifts on the road
Mhm.
to fill in some of the, open spot, like I'm still working my Friday afternoon shift because there's no sergeant and there's no full-time officer to be in charge of that shift, so that's one shift that I stayed on to not have somebody be forced into that position, as an acting sergeant. because we need a full-time officer on the shift.
Okay.
Um,
Thanks.
And Kevin said 18 officers full-time with budget? Full-time.
But we're down to 17 because we have a liability, the whole year's salary to the previous chief.
I think we still could hire 18 and still cover that financially. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, there's some things that came in today that we need to discuss in executive session.
And what you need from me for the new applicant is just to schedule a time?
Yeah, so with part-time, that is interviewed by the commission.
Mhm.
And, just like you did with Will and Moe, you would interview them, and if they're favorable, then we would go ahead with the.
Chief can help you set up the time. This
Okay.
is,
It doesn't have to be.
That's fine.
this is a, hey,
Just letting you know that it's there.
Oh, okay. In the
Yeah.
future.
Mhm.
yeah, so I mean, basically, you're looking, if you want, you can look at it. I mean, all the personal information would be removed. Chief always blacked out address and social security or anything else that may be in an application. That we shouldn't have, quite frankly. If you want to look at that, say, talk to the personnel committee, say, hey, you know what, this person might be a good candidate. Sometimes the chief, they can help set up. an
Okay,
interview.
we'll talk.
Yep, sounds good.
And specifically for this, we would base whatever personnel committee availability is, and then the rest of us will tag on, if we're available.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So just because I know in Swissville, we often have an issue of trying to get 7 people together to try to interview one person. So unless somebody has a major objection, I think that we schedule it around the personnel committee's schedule. And then those of us that are not on the personnel committee, if we are available, we get there. And of course, if you have a strong opinion, please feel free to share. Either now or specifically if you see a candidate, it's like, no, I don't think we should do this because this is how I know or something. But just for ease and expedition.
Just a quick rundown of reports that I ran for the month of March 1st to March 31st. Looks like we answered 585 calls for service in that time frame. Just a quick breakdown, 297 no crime reports, it might have been a neighbor dispute or something that didn't involve a reportable crime through the FBI statistics. 36 crime reports, 15 traffic stops, 4 citations were written, 2 reportable crashes, 4 non-reportable crashes. There were 23 total arrests, 19 were adults and 4 were juveniles. As was mentioned earlier, we did assist Edgewood with a shooting that occurred in the Edgewood Town Center. Allegheny County Police have made an arrest or 2 based on that incident. The 26 and the 2700 block of Woodstock Avenue, we had a vehicle crash, flipped over, gentleman was trapped. The fire department had to cut the roof off to get him out. Something I think we may want to look at in that area, there's a lot of crashes. And for Swissville, we're talking about these speed bumps and these speed humps. So if you're familiar, when you're coming towards North Braddock, you come to the stop sign, past where the LGAR home was at Woodstock Place, you're continuing towards North Braddock, and it sort of goes around the bend to the right, and then you go to the bridge. Cars come around that bend both ways. I don't know if it's speed, they hit parked cars. And I don't have exact data, but personally, I know that I've been on several. And all this car did, it came around, he hit the side of a parked car and flipped over onto its side. So I don't know if that's something we may have to look at as an area that there's a lot of crashes and it may be speed hump or the tabletops may benefit in that area.
Can you just pass that block on to Greg and ask him to pass it on to the transportation advisory committee? Or take it right to them, that's fine. Yeah. I just wanted to get there.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we're collecting this data.
That Woodstock it's a problem. I live right around the.
Right.
I see the cars coming through.
Yeah.
They're
It seems like for some reason that bend,
Yes,
I don't know if more signage needs to be, I mean, that's the traffic people that I guess can look into that, but that bend always seems to get people when they come up and they hit the parked cars along that side right there a lot.
I want you to feel empowered to share any of that information anytime, say in Braddock Hills, if you have something that needs to be shared. I mean, like, for example, we have those, fun, signs that, thank you, Senator Jay Costa, for bringing them to Braddock Hills, which now brought them to Swissville Braddock Hills Regional Police Department. Thank you, Senator Jay Costa. It became a centerpiece of Easter as people were racing up and down the street running to try to see if they would register, including our DPW. But those types of things.
Sure.
Where, and including that in your report,
And just where those are located, that should be a decision coming from
Okay.
the police, not from Swissville.
Yeah.
Because those speed binders are the property of the commission.
The only other thing, the construction companies have started reaching out about the commercial street bridge, and having officers at intersections. One reached out and asked if we had a off-duty contract, which I asked, Mr. Batchy about, because that's who handled it previously, and we never did. This construction company seems, I think we should. I don't know if it's something that.
Chief sent something over to PennDOT. I don't know what that.
So we've sent all, I don't know the exact procedure. We sent over, I know that the overtime detail rates were sent out, including if you're using cars and stuff like that. And I believe in the past, the borough kept track of all those hours, forwarded an invoice to whatever the construction company was paying. I believe there's two construction companies, Trumbull and Fay, that are handling this. Fay is the one that reached out. They sent me Homesteads in Pittsburgh, just what it looks like. I don't know.
Look at it.
Yeah, so
Garmin.
I don't know if it's something we need or we can just tell them we send you a bill. Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking about, but.
Probably. I can hear McTiernan in the back.
Yeah.
But I don't know, we've never had it ever before. Yeah, we have May.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let's work on that. We got May 11th is our next meeting at Swissville. Let's look at that. See what-
Yeah, for she sent me Homesteads and Pittsburgh's. Obviously, Pittsburgh's is a little different because of how much off-duty work that they have with different things.
Right.
So Homestead's may be the closest,
Okay.
if we need it. Lastly, again, with John's thing, thank you to everybody who helped us, contributed, and we sent out 13 thank you letters so far. Big one was Allegheny County Police stepped up and provided us 24 hours of coverage so that our officers could have the night prior off, the day of, and the afternoon of John's services, which was nice so that everybody could attend without having to worry about anything. They did actually, they had a kind of busy day. I know I heard of at least 2, maybe 3 arrests that they had. So, thank them. Pittsburgh Police, cycle unit for our escort and the honor guard. Without them, I think we'd have been lost because I made contact with them and they immediately came out and they were ready to go with everything that they did and came out and spoke with Amy and made sure there was everything that she wanted. So that went well, and everybody else who was a part of it, we appreciate it.
I want to make sure everybody understands. I mean, this was not public because we didn't want to share that we weren't on the roads. We had a council meeting last week and she was about to mention, no, we don't want to tell people there's no cops in the room. No, criminals don't watch this, but they're gonna hear it. No, but the county, we discussed it and we decided that it was the best interest for all the officers to be able to have the night before off, the day off. So nobody's coming in from 11 to 7 and going to, an emotionally charged event. So everyone would have time. So the 24 hours that the county gave us, thank you, Chief, for facilitating that, make all the contacts. Thank you, County Executive Sarah Morado, for your team for providing us the support that we needed to be able to have our officers participate in the way in the form of actually wanting.
And
I'd like to just thank you and Dave for your composure during the last call. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. I don't know how you did it, but it's so professional and what a nice tribute.
And thank you, Nan.
yeah. And just so everyone's aware, nobody probably knew it, in the funeral home the whole time was, retired Sergeant Bill Verban from Penn Hills. He is police officer support team. So if any officers had any grief that they needed to deal with, he showed up every viewing the funeral. So thank you to the post team through the Fraternal Order of Police, for him being there. If anybody needed to talk about anything, just be a shoulder. So.
There's a lot that went behind the scenes, folks didn't see, a lot of care. If an officer needed a day off, or needed a couple hours off, they were given administrative leave. All officers were paid for any missed shift for Tuesday and Wednesday. Every officer that attended that morning will receive 3 hours of pay who weren't scheduled. For those people who are already getting paid, for those that came. They didn't come there to get paid, but there's multiple reasons why that was important. One, it's a nice gesture. Two, they were in uniform in our vehicles, so they didn't want any issues in case, God forbid, something happened with a vehicle and what was comp challenge something. But it was great. And maybe never.
I'm with you on that one.
I don't know how you did it.
Come Wednesday night, I was done.
You are a true gentleman. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you. That's all I have. Anybody have any questions?
Now, I asked Chief to provide, we did a report and stuff, but I asked Chief to kind of verbalize the data so we actually see it and hear it. I think it's important for us to understand that 585 calls were answered in a period of 1 month. That is a lot of work, and that is a lot of dedication by our officers. These are 585 issues that we get done, and the rest of our community, So I'll reiterate what I said at the council meeting last week. You see an officer, say hi and say thank you. Anything else for the good of the order? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn at 7:20 p.m.
Motion to adjourn at 7:20.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.